When he appears, people fall, not out of reverence, but because their bodies betray them, because the weight of his presence presses against the soul itself. He does not speak unless the world is about to change. He does not appear unless the message is too immense for human mouths to carry. This is Pantheon mythology, and today we're exploring the question, why is Archangel Gabriel so terrifying? If you too want to make people fall, check out Pantheon Apparel, our clothing brand inspired by mythology, legends and folklore. We ship worldwide and are rated excellent on Trustpilot. Link in the description. Gabriel first emerges in the book of Daniel, where his arrival leaves the prophet physically overwhelmed. He is one of the only angels in the Hebrew Bible named directly, and his words carry the weight of empires. When he speaks, it is to unravel visions of devastation and redemption, messages that mark the shifting of eras. Later Jewish writings, especially within apocalyptic and mystical traditions, elevate Gabriel further. He stands among the highest angels associated with fire and divine judgment, a figure who acts not with personal will, but as a direct extension of God's command. His name, God is my strength, reflects the unrelenting force that speaks through him. In Christian scripture, Gabriel is the one who delivers history-altering proclamations. He tells Zechariah of John's coming. He visits Mary to announce the birth of Christ. These aren't personal revelations. They are declarations that reshape the spiritual fabric of the world. Gabriel's authority is absolute. When he speaks, fate moves. In Islam, he is known as Gabriel, the angel of revelation and the direct link between the divine and the prophet Muhammad. More than a messenger, Gabriel is the means through which the Quran is delivered, appearing not once but many times across years of revelation. Hadith literature describes him as being of unimaginable scale and brilliance, with wings that stretch across the horizon and a presence that stuns even the most resolute heart. His arrival is never quiet. It marks the intrusion of the eternal into the world of the living. Across all three faiths, Gabriel occupies a singular position. He doesn't merely relay messages. He delivers the kind of truth that redraws the map of human destiny. Whenever he appears, history divides into before and after. When Gabriel appears, even the holy unravel. In the book of Daniel, the prophet receives a vision so intense that he falls face down, drained of all strength. Gabriel speaks, and Daniel describes feeling as though his breath leaves him, his limbs heavy and unresponsive. This isn't spiritual revelation, it's a physical collapse. Zechariah, a priest, receives Gabriel's announcement of John's birth and questions it. His doubt earns him silence. Not symbolic silence, literal muteness. A divine order imposed on his very voice. Mary, though chosen, is described as greatly troubled by Gabriel's sudden presence. Not curious, not honored. Troubled. Alarmed. These encounters all follow the same pattern. Not joy, not clarity, but shock, disorientation, dread. It's not the content of the message that overwhelms, it's the presence delivering it. The force of Gabriel's arrival breaks through human defenses, bypassing reason and leaving only raw reaction. Knees buckle, hearts race, words fail. This is what the theologians have called the numinous, an experience that inspires both awe and terror, often reserved for the divine itself. It is the feeling of being exposed before something incomprehensibly vast. Not malevolent, but not safe either. Gabriel is not terrifying because he brings punishment. He's terrifying because he brings proximity. proximity to a realm that does not tolerate ambiguity. His presence clarifies what we truly are: mortal, limited, and terribly, terribly small. To encounter Gabriel is to realize that some truths are not whispered gently in our ears. They are dropped into our lives like fire, and we are left trembling in the smoke. Within the celestial order, angels are not interchangeable. Each has a role, a temperament, a relationship to the human world. Michael is the warrior, armed for battle, a champion against chaos. His purpose is protection, his presence a shield. Raphael, known from the book of Tobit, moves more quietly, guiding travelers, healing wounds, restoring what has been lost. He is the gentle hand behind the scenes. Gabriel is something else entirely. He does not intervene, he declares. Where Michael stands between humanity and its enemies, and Raphael walks alongside those in need, Gabriel enters without warning and speaks. His words are not suggestions, they are decisions. The ground shifts beneath because he says it must. This difference isn't just in purpose, but in presence. Michael's strength is seen in battle, Raphael's compassion in quiet moments. Gabriel brings none of that softness. His authority lands like a weight. He offers no lead-in, no moment of preparation. His message is delivered in full, with a clarity that leaves no space for negotiation. Even when the news is good, the delivery is absolute. There's also a deeper emotional divide. People seek Michael for courage and Raphael for comfort, but Gabriel is not someone you summon. He comes when the heavens have something that must be said. He doesn't answer prayers, he answers fate. To encounter him is not to be shielded or healed, but to be confronted with something final. He is not guidance, he is the command itself. A presence that marks the moment when the old order ends and something irreversible begins. Gabriel is most often remembered for his words, but in some of the earliest apocalyptic writings, he plays a far more forceful role. In the book of Enoch, Gabriel is appointed to punish the Watchers. These were the angels who descended to earth, defied heaven, and passed forbidden knowledge to humankind. They taught sorcery, weapons making, and other secrets not meant for mortals, and their actions unleashed chaos. Gabriel's charge was clear. Root them out, bind them, and purge their influence from the world. In this tradition, he becomes not just a messenger, but an agent of purification, acting with swift and merciless precision. This role isn't limited to Enoch. In some rabbinic and mystical sources, Gabriel is identified as the power behind the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. The cities, infamous for their corruption and violence, were marked for annihilation. Gabriel, according to certain interpretations, was the one who descended to carry out the sentence, his actions reducing civilization to ash under divine command. Other Christian apocryphal writings hint at Gabriel as a judge in the afterlife, weighing the souls of the dead or recording their deeds. He appears not as a warrior in conflict, but as a presence that enforces the will of heaven when there is no room left for mercy. His function in these stories is clinical, quiet, and terrifying in its finality. Unlike angels who act in defense or compassion, Gabriel's interventions come only when the decision has already been made. He does not negotiate, he does not hesitate. When justice must fall, it is Gabriel who ensures it lands without delay. He is not the sound of war, but he is its consequence. As mentioned earlier, Jibril is far more than a messenger in Islamic tradition. He is the living force of revelation. His presence doesn't ease into view or unfold gently. When the Prophet Muhammad first encountered him in the cave of Hira, the experience was startling. Jibril commanded him to recite, pressing against him with such intensity that Muhammad feared for his life. He returned home trembling, wrapped in blankets, whispering that something beyond comprehension had touched him. Later, when Gabriel revealed his full form, the prophet described a being so immense that his wings filled the entire horizon. 600 in total, each layered with light, feathers, and jewels. The sky disappeared behind him. His radiance wasn't gentle, but overwhelming. Hadith described a being composed of blazing light, casting shadows across entire regions, with a fragrance that lingered like perfume across the desert air. This is not beauty in the human sense. It's majesty at a scale that the soul can barely contain. Even Muhammad, chosen to receive revelation, spoke of the fear and awe that seized him when Gabriel appeared. The angel's voice rolled like thunder. His arrival shattered the ordinary. This was no vision, but a rupture in reality. Commentators and mystics describe Gabriel as a threshold between creation and the infinite. In Sufi thought, he is the veil torn open when truth descends. He arrives fully formed, flooding the moment with unfiltered meaning. His presence doesn't linger. It sears. Revelation in this form isn't offered, it strikes. It breaks the heart open to receive what cannot be refused. Gabriel speaks with the weight of heaven, and after his arrival, nothing remains untouched. When the end approaches, there are no more prophets, no more messengers, only the sound, and many believe that it is Gabriel who will deliver it. In Christian apocalyptic texts, Gabriel is said to stand with trumpet in hand, awaiting the final command. When it sounds, the world fractures. Mountains fall flat, oceans recede, and the dead stir in their graves. It is not a song, but a summons. The kind of sound that doesn't fill the air, but strips it away. One blast to tear the veil between life and death, and call every soul to account. In Islamic belief, the trumpet is more attributed to Israfil, but Gabriel's role in the end remains monumental. He is present in the unraveling of creation, a witness to the moment when order of the cosmos is reversed. The stars will scatter, the sky will split, and Gabriel will be there. Not as herald of beginnings, but as a figure confirming the final stage of what was always inevitable. He is not cast in the role of warrior or comforter. His function is colder, more exact. Gabriel forces what has already been written. There's no argument, no delay. His presence is the final punctuation to the sentence of existence. This is the same figure who once announced miraculous births and whispered words of hope into a virgin's ear. Now he stands amid ash and silence, signalling the last breath of the world. And when that moment comes, it is not chaos that descends. It is order collapsing on cue. Gabriel does not need to destroy. He simply delivers the sound that ends the story. Gabriel doesn't terrify with violence. He terrifies with clarity. His presence overwhelms because it strips away the illusions that keep us feeling whole. Time, language, even identity begins to fray. The self, so carefully built through memory and habit, finds itself exposed to something that cannot be resisted or explained. The fear he inspires doesn't resemble panic. It feels closer to reverence, an instinctive submission before something immeasurably greater. This isn't dread for its own sake. It is the collapse that comes from encountering a being who doesn't operate within human limits, but instead carries out the will of the infinite with unshakable certainty. When Gabriel appears, the body reacts. The soul recognizes its smallness. Prophets fall not from weakness, but from contact. What he reveals is not evil, but order, immense, exacting, inescapable. This fear holds weight because it clarifies. Gabriel doesn't deliver punishment, he delivers truth. And truth, when it cannot be softened or avoided, reshapes the one who receives it. His message carries no malice, yet it still breaks the world open. That is the nature of holy terror, not cruelty, not chaos, but the presence of something so vast, so final, that the only possible response is awe. Somewhere along the way, Gabriel changed. In popular spirituality, he has been softened, transformed from the shattering voice of judgment into a gentle emissary of intuition, communication, and calm. He appears on angel cards, meditation apps, and inspirational posters. The name still carries weight, but the edge has been dulled. Gone is the angel who silences prophets and bends the air around them. In his place stands a luminous guide, offering comfort rather than confrontation. He has become palatable, approachable, something to invite in rather than something to survive. But this version of Gabriel is a choice, a reflection of what we want from the divine. Safety, affirmation, peace. The real Gabriel was never meant to be those things. He did not come to reassure. He came to disrupt, to announce, to split time in two. We have made him easier to look at, because the truth he represents is not. The idea that something might arrive in your life that cannot be reasoned with or reshaped, that does not bend to desire or belief, is deeply uncomfortable. And so we tame him. But the scriptures do not. They leave him towering, brilliant, unbearable. Not a guide through darkness, but the light so bright it burns the map. So then, why is Archangel Gabriel so terrifying? Because when he speaks, prophecy begins, kingdoms fall, and the world shudders. Because he doesn't arrive to soothe your fears, he arrives to remake reality. Because he is not the voice of comfort, he is the voice of heaven. And heaven never whispers.